Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. So in this video, now we are going to be having the second part. In the last video, we were talking about what could be the most possible lineup Ronald Koeman could place in the next season when it comes to the defense. But now within this video, we are going to be having part 2, which is going to consist of the midfield. And I do want to remind everyone here that it is still very early within the transfer window. Everything could change. Barcelona could be making a world-class signing in about 1 to 2 weeks. But I highly do think that that is not going to be happening. And I'm also very convinced that because Barcelona is so limited in terms of the wage bill, I think that if Barcelona were to actually sign a midfielder or a center back, they would sign someone that would not interfere with the possible starting lineup for Barcelona under Ronald Koeman next season, and especially within the midfield. Now, if Barcelona signed Pogba, then by all means go for it. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe it should be Pogba starting within that midfield, but that is not going to happen. The limitations that Barcelona is having really does give a better idea on what Barcelona's starting 11 could be like. But before we go into the predicted midfield for Barcelona next season, I do want to talk about the OneFootball app. The OneFootball app is considered as the best football app you could find within the App Store when it does come to the latest news, transfer news, any player stats, any team stats, anything that you do want to find out within a player or a team, you could find all of that within the App Store. And one of the best features that the OneFootball app does have is that it does update you immediately and live. The only thing that you do have to do is go into the link in my description box. It'll take you straight to the App Store. You would be able to download it right after and then select the players or team that you do want to follow to be prepared for this transfer window. But now let's get back into the video. So starting with the central defensive midfield position. So I believe that when it comes to this position, there has not been a lot of questions surrounding who could be within that position. I do believe that there's just many different strong takes on who could play within that position. So many people are saying Frenkie de Jong or Moriba or Nico Gonzalez or maybe even Eric Garcia and Busquets. There are many strong takes. But here's the thing. I think that if Koeman wants to build a Barcelona where he can rely on a central defensive midfielder to organize the play, to tell the players that they can relax, to know where and when to switch the play, that would come down to one player, which is Sergio Busquets. Sergio Busquets does extremely well at what I just mentioned. And there is no other player within this squad currently that can do better than him. And you look at Busquets, right? He has been having a massive year in 2021. I remember in those last 5 to 8 matches within La Liga, Busquets was one of the best players in Barcelona. And even with the Euros that did happen a couple of weeks ago, Busquets also played very well in Spain. And at the same time, he was a captain and leading Spain within that tournament. And the only reason why Busquets did show his quality in those last 5 to 8 games with Barcelona and showed his quality in that tournament with Spain, it is because Barcelona and Spain played like a team. When a team is spread out and you do not support each other and you leave Busquets with a lot of space surrounding him, then yes, Busquets will get annihilated. Because in the last season, there were many situations where Busquets was within that position and there were so many players not being able to support him. There were so many players being spread out, and that is not Busquets nor Barcelona's play. And so going into the next season, I think that this is also going to be a transition season that many of us are going to be witnessing when it comes to this player. And I think that Busquets is also very well aware of his situation. But because we do have to wait for that transition, for these players to develop within that role, in the meantime, throughout the next season, we are still going to be seeing that killer Busquets, the Busquets that intercepts, that shields the ball. And the one thing that does greatly stand out from this player is the connection with Lionel Messi. There is no other player within Barcelona that passes more to Messi than Busquets. And that is going to be one of the keys for next season either way. If Barcelona want to get the best out of Messi and have Messi involved in every game and in every goal or assist like what Messi has been doing with Argentina in the summer, Busquets is going to have to be starting within that position. Moving on towards the next position, which is going to be about the interiors, right? The central midfielders, the ones who are going to be in front of Sergio Busquets. Now, when it comes to these two positions, I want to get one thing very clear. The player that I am going to be mentioning, he is a player that will for sure start in Barcelona and will continue to start with Barcelona for many years. But before I do mention this player, I also do want to bring up that game between Barcelona and Gimnastic that did happen a couple of hours ago. There were many players in this game from Barcelona specifically that had a great performance. And when I do mean by those players, that is Gavi, Riqui Puig, and Alex Collado, 3 midfielders that showed that they greatly did know their roles. They knew what to do. They understood what Koeman wanted, and every time they received the ball, they were very confident on their decisions and their movement. If we were to look at Gavi's game, his game is very mature. He always makes the right decisions, and to be only 16 years old, this is a player that Barcelona is going to want to look at eventually and maybe even consider bringing him into the first team. Then you look at Riqui Puig. Riqui Puig is always looking hyperactive on the field. We know what he can do. And then we move on towards Alex Collado. Alex Collado has scored a goal against Gimnastic, and he has also made a very big statement after the match was over, saying that I do not want to go back to Barcelona B. I want to stay at the first team, and if I cannot get that, then I'm going to need to move on. So these are three players that has made a statement at Barcelona. But one of the players that is going to be for sure starting within that interior role in Barcelona, it is going to be Frenkie de Jong. Like everyone does say, third time is going to be the charm. Frenkie de Jong going into this season will be his third season with FC Barcelona. And then if we were to analyze Frenkie de Jong's game last season and in this Euro, it was world class. It was one of the best versions of Frenkie de Jong that we have seen. And what's so scary about Frenkie de Jong's game is that many people actually do praise his off the ball work, the way that he makes those runs to receive the ball inside the box. He does get praise towards that, and many say that this is the scariest and the best version of Frenkie de Jong. But I don't even think that that's going to be it. I think that the best version of Frenkie de Jong is him being on the ball, because he can just do so much when he does gain control of the ball on the field. And we saw that with the Netherlands. We saw how dangerous he could be. He just simply provides so much more. You have the midfielders that do like to receive the ball in the final third area and then cause damage in or around the box. And then you have the midfielders who receive the ball from deep and get you out of the situations where you do need to beat the press from the opposition. That is Frenkie de Jong. That is Frenkie de Jong's game. And when you have a player like that, which you do not see in every club, you need to take good care of that player and give him the most amount of minutes and development. So Frenkie de Jong will be starting in that central midfield position alongside Busquets. And now moving on towards the last player of this midfield three, and that is going to be Pedri. Now, I know many of you guys are going to be saying, wait a minute, Kevin, you're telling me that you predict that our midfield is going to be Busquets, Frenkie de Jong, and Pedri when that was our exact same midfield from last season? Just look at the type of results that we have achieved last season. We want to upgrade. We want to get better, which is true. I think that last season we did not get the best results, but that wasn't the problem. The problem was not the players. The problem was that the system was not functioning correctly. We saw Pedri in so many different positions. We saw Frenkie de Jong in so many different positions. We saw Busquets being isolated by himself where he was not getting supported, and that is the reason why a midfield like this could not get us to that position. But with the right system, my friends, which I assume Ronald Koeman is going to be bringing to Barcelona next season, a midfield of Frenkie de Jong, Pedri, and Busquets, it is going to be one of the best in the world. And you look at Pedri's game and how he played with Spain in this past summer, he was the most efficient. He was the most important under Lucho, and he was the best young player at the Euros. And what fascinates me the most about Pedri's game, both with Spain and Barcelona, is that usually you see young players make decisions to benefit their own selves, to make themselves look better, to be the star of the show. Pedri is not like that. Pedri makes decisions based off what could I do to make my team perform better, to make this team improve even more. What is the best decision for this team? Not what is the best decision for myself. Many young players do think that way, but Pedri does not. And that is going to be it, right? A midfield of Pedri, Frenkie de Jong, and Busquets, it is a midfield that does have everything. But if you use it correctly, which is the most important, it is a midfield that demands control. It is also a midfield that wants to showcase their talent. And the only thing that they could do on the field is to actually be themselves, because if they cannot do that, then they will not prosper. And I do want to lastly end it with this, and I hope that this actually sits well with everyone here who is currently hearing me right now. Here is the last thing that I do want to say. The margin between the starting 11 that I have placed, which is Frenkie de Jong, Pedri, and Busquets, the quality margin between this starting midfield and the players that is going to be on the bench that are midfielders, that margin is getting smaller and smaller. You look at the players that we have just talked about, like Gavi, Riqui Puig, Alex Collado, Moriba, Nico Gonzalez. These are all midfielders that can actually pressure this midfield to perform even better, to show them that, look, if you do not perform in those first 45 minutes, then we could use our other alternatives on the bench with no problem. And I actually do not even mind that. I have no problem with these players that I have just mentioned to take away minutes from Pedri, Frenkie de Jong, and Busquets, because these are midfielders that do have humongous talent, and most importantly, these are all 5 players that do come through the academy. So there is so much to look forward to. That is going to be wrapping up today's Barcelona video. Again, I do want to give you guys a recap. Our starting back line is going to be Serginho Dest as the right back, Eric Garcia and Araujo as our center backs, and our left back is going to be Jordi Alba. As for our midfield, it is going to be no other but Busquets, Pedri, and Frenkie de Jong. The next video that I am going to be making is going to be about that attacking line, and there's just so many players to choose from, and I'm going to be making making that very soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys in the next video.